T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up? Welcome back.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I should just talk like that from now on. With no explanation.
We're in the midst of a Jupiter extravaganza. There's so much Jupiter Sagittarius energy. Hopefully you guys are feeling the optimism.
It's crazy you say that because I'm gonna astro nerd on you with a lot of jargon here, but I kind of say this feeling like the man right now, but I got my progressed sun in Cancer 21 degrees, and then my progressed Jupiter in Cancer 22 degrees. And then my progressed moon is 0 degrees Aries, and Jupiter is going over that. Boys leveling up, you know what I'm saying?
That's a lot. Well, and you got progressed sun coming in conjunction with Jupiter.
Yeah, over the next year.
It's nice.
I'm blowing up. Oh, for real, nice. I'm excited.
I'm actually, like, for the first time in a couple of months, like, pretty much since, like, I don't know, I feel like it's just been, like, a never-ending thing. Like, July and August was all the North Node Uranus bullshit. August was fixed T-squares. September was Mercury retrograde. October was more eclipses. More mutable squares in November. So this is, like, one of the more positive things that we have had for a while.
I like it. It's like a long-term positivity. It's like, keep investing in Taurus. It'll all be worth it. It'll all be worth it.
Well, yes, with the sextiles, 100%.
Yeah.
Basically, what we wanted to talk to you guys about is actually Jupiter stationing. And it was stationing by the time you guys watch this. It's right around the time of the new moon. But right after the new moon in Sag on the 23rd, Jupiter goes direct. So it's actually stationing like that day, maybe a little bit the day before. We just wanted to kind of wrap on, like, Jupiter being in Pisces, the fact that Jupiter is going to be leaving Pisces. So it's only going to be here for roughly about a month. And then it's going to be moving back into the sign of Aries. Very different energy next year. So when a planet goes direct, it has a lot more power. It's, like, super potent. So Jupiter in itself, in its traditional ruling sign of Pisces, is pretty strong. But instead of expansion literally or physically, it's like psychically, spiritually, emotionally, dream world, all of that stuff. But it can also be like paranoia, fear, addiction, substances, isolation, delusion. So there's some sweet and salty to it, but I'm just like, I've been looking at this chart on and off all day today, and I'm just kind of like mind blown that we've got a stellium of planets during the Sagittarius new moon ruled by Jupiter, all trining Jupiter, which is just going direct.
That is amazing.
So I think, when is this going to be coming out? I've asked this like 3 times now. So I think this is coming out on the 28th. So by the time you guys are watching this, it's a couple days after the new moon. Both of us do stuff on the new and the full moon on our own channel, so you can find the Peace Stealer or Beyond the Veil on YouTube. We definitely talk about this stuff, but what's your takeaway? Like, what's your hot takes for these transits that have been, you know, Jupiter and Neptune and Pisces, and what do you think the purpose was for Jupiter's, like, retrograde back into Pisces? Like, what is it wrapping up, and what do you anticipate is starting new, because it's leaving the final chapter, that really 12th house energy of Pisces, and it's moving back into Aries, which is much more action oriented.
Yeah, emphasis on action oriented. I've been wanting to wait to really make this hot take, but I mean, we're in Scorpio season, and so far everything you and I've said, at least to a degree, has happened in understanding the direction we're going, and in light of, like, what we've been experiencing. I truly believe that the first degree of Sagittarius season is the turning point and change that has been set up since June, and then triggered and integrated since September with Gemini and Virgo. So, I mean, in light of NATO being called on by Poland and increasing tensions. I really wouldn't be surprised if, I'm not going to say just war, but some collective event really sweeps everyone over the next 5 months as Jupiter gets ready to go into Aries. It's definitely coinciding a major event with Mars. And I think the retrograde back into Pisces symbolically is completely transcending this evolution we've done for 12 years. Because the most important part about this is the last time Jupiter was in Pisces, it was with Uranus, 2010, at the very end of Pisces. Then we had the conjunction at the very beginning of Aries, 2010. So it's back again, but now with Neptune, which was in Aquarius last time it was in Pisces. And the last time we had Neptune Jupiter was like 165 years ago. So it's important to see this as like the definite end of a lot of collective lessons. This Jupiter ingress back into Aries is like the final leg of a chapter of a story before the next 3 years when Saturn and Neptune end it for good. And then subsequently Pluto. Pluto was like the custodians cleaning out the movie theater after everything is done while a new narrative is here. So I'm so excited about it. I love how you said it's expanding like the spiritual realm and unseen things. This energy to me is like walking in a dark room and you don't see where you're moving forward to, but then it goes into Aries and you see, oh, I'm glad I had faith moving in that right direction.
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying? Like, now I know where to go. I see more to go. So I'm really excited. I feel like the Mars is going to trip a lot of people up, but it's going to challenge everyone to take everything they're seeing, align it with truth. Because I think with Mercury and Sag, so many things are going to happen really fast that if you're not grounded and aligned with the truth, the Saturn square Uranus, you'll just be swept up by what happens really fast. Like if we find out that it really is war, you know, and everyone goes into pandemonium, energy like this can have people going crazy. And it's very important to stay tuned into what's the truth versus what everyone's talking about.
It's interesting, like, that it's going direct on a Sagittarius new moon, which is kind of setting the stage for new truths.
Yeah.
Trying to, you know, Jupiter out of sign trine, or out of element trine, but still a trine nevertheless. So it's pretty positive and optimistic. It's a good sign that at least 6 months down the road, things are going to get a little bit better. But the whole faith aspect, like, you know, trusting before you see things kind of coming in. I mean,
that's huge.
We're in the midst of another Mars square Neptune. While this is happening, a very extended Mars square Neptune because of the Mars retrograde in Gemini. And I've kind of seen, or at least my perspective on the Mars retrograde has been walking the walk and talking the talk. So when we start seeing planets early in December getting into kind of the later degrees of Sag opposing Mars, there's going to be the global belief system versus what, you know, we thought we knew or what we've always communicated, all coming into squares with both Jupiter and Neptune, which is going to cast shadow, doubt. There's going to be manipulation, distortion, and you're just going to see like just like a total mutable shitstorm, which could be literal storms as well, visibility issues, stuff like that. But walking the walk and talking the talk. So this is such an important transit, both Jupiter going direct, but also I think it's going to be preparing us for 2 weeks' time when we have that full moon in Gemini. It'll be exactly conjunct Mars retrograde. So there is like more of a need to believe and like lock in to spiritual practices, meditation, consciously taking time to be alone, to reflect, to kind of like hold space for like what is ending because it's the birth of something new.
Absolutely.
Because when things get buck wild here in about 2 weeks, the focal point of that will still be the squares to both Jupiter and Neptune. So it's still going to be like, what do you believe in? Like, is it going to be faith or fear?
Yeah, that's huge. Faith or fear. I love that.
Just stellium of planets in Sag in general with Jupiter in the later degrees is basically, I think, like this quest to really figure out, you know, what our purpose is, what the bigger picture is. I don't know how you see the 9th house, but I kind of see it as like how we connect and we communicate and talk to God.
Yeah. the house of God, comedy, philosophy, higher education, which would be interesting with Saturn and Aquarius to see how, you know, I like to think of every Saturn and Aquarius as like an update of knowledge. It's like we're updating the almanac. We're looking at previous scientific discoveries and laughing at them in light of new discoveries, and we'll be able to see what direction we can move into. But I really, what I find very fascinating, first, you bringing up the new moon is really key, because that is like the sequence of Sagittarius season and really the transits, but it's just mind-blowing. We know that Mercury is going to be in Sag from now, right? But the new moon kicks it off, and then at the full moon, it's in Capricorn. So it's like that whole cycle, like, prepares our minds to move in the right direction. Sagittarius season as a season ascends our perspective, and then the direction that we're ready to go into, we move in Capricorn season. So it's amazing that the whole Sagittarius season prepares for Jupiter to come back into Aries, and it just smells like a complete setup to me. In a good and bad way.
I'm still super kind of questioning and asking myself, like, what is the purpose, you know, when we look at, you know, 2017 to 2020, watching, you know, Jupiter come into Capricorn in 2020 with Saturn and Pluto, and then watching both Saturn and Jupiter move into Aquarius, and now we've watched Jupiter move into Pisces, and now Saturn's getting ready to move into Pisces. So we've had several years here where Jupiter has been ahead of the pack before Saturn shows up, prophesizing and talking about and giving us insight into what the future may hold. So I think that what has been going on with Jupiter and Pisces this last year or so is very symbolic, I think, of preparation before Saturn shows up, and Saturn goes, you know, like, okay, it's time to kind of buckle down and get started. And Jupiter is positive, it's optimistic, very emotional and sensitive in the sign of Pisces. But I think that, in my opinion, it's been kind of highlighting this whole, like, look, you have a choice. You can either consciously take time to be alone, or you can feel isolated, you can be, you know, separated, you can be sick, you can be in a hospital, you can be in another country, you could be in a temple. It's just, or you can be in quarantine, however you look at it. It's what you do with that time that you're by yourself. And so I think over the next couple of years, watching Saturn go into Pisces, where it's not the happiest, but it's also in Venus's exaltation, that I feel like many of us who are kind of hunkering down for another 2.5 years, really strengthening our faith and our ability to get things done while we are kind of behind closed doors, creatively, spiritually, emotionally. Saturn just, Jupiter has painted a picture that it's going to be so much sweeter. But then the harsh reality kind of sets in when Saturn shows up. You
said something that made me realize what this Saturn Aries might look like, because we know the end of the world is Saturn, end of the zodiac Pisces world, and then the new world order is Saturn and Aries. But we know that Saturn is in its fall in Aries, and it's his limitations of individual rights. So that's not really fun to look forward to.
And Neptune. But I think that's only if you get sucked into the trappings, with all due respect to Saturn.
If you believe the delusions in Pisces.
If you believe in that, and if you get sucked into that, I think Saturn and Pisces coming into conjunction with Neptune, I think there's going to be an overall effort to merge major religions, to encourage people to disregard their past history, or, you know, their allegiance to any particular country, or their, you know, city of origin, whatever. That's facts. And they're going to try to get everybody to kind of meld together. And then we're going to realize that in the process of doing that, once we get into a couple years from now, when both Saturn and Neptune ingress into Aries, the North Node will be there too, kids. So we're going to realize that we have lost our own personal belief system, faith, our own personal vision, because we've just been kind of going along with what everybody else wants. So I think the silver lining with Jupiter and Neptune here is, like, really define your faith and your vision and your dreams now. Get clear about it now.
Even if you don't have all the answers, just go in that right direction. That's definitely true. I have a question though regarding we know that Jupiter and Saturn conjuncted in Aquarius, like in the beginning.
Yeah.
So we finally, and you touched on this a little bit, but we finally reached a point where relative to the conjunction, now Jupiter is second house to Saturn.
Yeah.
So how do you think that manifesting the Saturn karma looks like?
I mean, Neptune and Jupiter, second house to Saturn right now, is that we don't know what the fuck is going on financially within the global markets.
Right. Oh, that's deep.
We don't know. We have no idea because to some extent it's being hidden, or we don't know what it's going towards. I mean, we could also go at this deeper and we could see how Mars is in a square. I mean, I think that that's also kind of suggesting that there's so much changing in terms of our individual, kind of goals. And so many people are like moving, shifting jobs, making sacrifices, cutting back on things because they also don't know what to anticipate with what's kind of coming financially right now. I mean, I for one am not wild about this because it says that we're all kind of intentionally, I think, being kept in the dark with the reality of what's really going on.
More so than ever.
Yeah.
But now with the nature of that, I feel like Sagittarius squaring it is the light that will challenge what has been hidden and bringing up, I mean, maybe not everything, but starting to. And that's what I find bittersweet about Sagittarius to Aries is the last light we're going to have for a long time.
Yeah.
We will not have any prominent fire sign transits.
No, until we get back into, Jupiter and Aries and we start seeing personal planets moving into Aries. I mean, I was looking at the astrology for 2023 and I'm like, holy cow, it's like March, April, May. Like a mass majority of the really significant transits in 2023 is March, April, May. You got Sun going into Aries, conjunctions to Jupiter, North Node moving into Aries, North Node eclipses happening in Aries.
That's it.
So,
right
I mean, it's just...
Pluto and Aquarius.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We're alive, guys. This is crazy. We're here for this.
The energy is going to be so different next year. And I think that it's going to...
on so different. I think it's important to highlight that. It's going to be so different.
It's just so weird having Pluto in Aquarius and Jupiter in Aries, which is like go.
Yeah.
But Saturn is going to be in Pisces.
Yeah.
So to me, that's just kind of like, what the fuck?
It's like whatever's driving everything is hidden while we're moving forward. So we might not always know. There's something brand new happening, but we're not going to know exactly what's behind it and pushing it because it's so new. We're moving forward.
Well, we still don't know because it's still being kind of worked out and developed in secrecy because Jupiter now is in a sextile with Pluto and Capricorn again.
And I was going to say too, based on what you said with the financial misunderstanding or not being aware, Saturn's going to go into Pisces and then we're going to have the Jupiter sextile in Taurus and then the Jupiter square in Gemini. So do you feel like with the markets the way they are now, are they going to crash short term and then rise, or are they going to rise short term? I mean, that's speculative.
I mean, obviously this is not financial advice. Personally, I feel like when we get into Aquarius season in the new year, when planets start coming to the first quarter square from this most recent Scorpio eclipse, you want to look at the new moon that we're going to have in Aquarius because it's going to be, I believe, very close to Pluto. That new moon, which will be very close to Pluto, is going to square the solar eclipse point that we had in Scorpio at the end of October.
It's going to be in the beginning of Aquarius.
I don't think we've seen the bottom,
that's
basically.
Crazy. You're
I don't. And I think that things are going to be broken down, but it's going to take until Jupiter gets into Taurus and touches on the North Node.
Yeah.
And finally, we might see a bit of a run over the summer because Jupiter and Uranus will be in the same sign, but I think it's going to take until 2024 when we see Jupiter and Uranus in conjunction. So, I kind of feel inclined to tell people no matter how rocky the crypto thing gets or, they're talking about, coming in and reforming things or, having more, oversight.
Especially with the scandal and everything, which is so Scorpio. A huge
I'm just going to say
scandal.
this because I've been saying this for the last week, waiting for you to get here.
Wow.
Months ago, we said on the podcast, the war in Ukraine is literally being used to monopolize on taking money out of the United States and essentially washing it or, laundering it through the Ukraine. There's been billions of dollars that's gone to the Ukraine at this point. Now we see all this like FTX bullshit. That's all falling apart. You find out that that guy is like a total fucking scam artist. All that money was being sent to Ukraine, was being funneled through Ukraine back into politics in the United
Democratic
States. People made a
elections.
ton of money, and now all of a sudden, the everyday person is out in money that they put into this. They spent so much money on
pension programs for certain Canadians. They got nothing now. Poof.
Yeah, I mean, but not only that, you had a lot of celebrities on board. Now they're coming for Shaq and Tom Brady and all these people that were involved, claiming that they were part of a Ponzi scheme.
Oh, shit.
All the fucking people involved with that were tied somehow through relatives or friends or other people to major financial oversight in the United States. They're
Even
now
people who
being
invested.
extradited from the Bahamas.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like, it's fucking crazy. So I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist, but we were saying for months, like, this is money laundering. And personally, knowing that our tax dollars were going into something like this just to generate more money.
And they're still asking for more money.
And
to
that
send.
guy was in their ear basically saying to kind of go in the direction of how they were running the company with like setting everything up for like cryptocurrency, paving the way for oversight and working with the government. Like now it's going to give crypto a bad rap. And now I think it's going to make it more challenging for it to be seen as like a tradable and like legitimate currency. I mean, it's just, the whole thing fucking sucks. Part of me wonders, was it an intentional fall? It's weird that it happened right after midterms when Democrats secured some of their seats. And now all of a sudden you've got these major crypto companies that have been falling, which is in turn affecting other people. Like, this is so Jupiter, Neptune, sextile Pluto. And was it designed that way? So that way they had a scapegoat to come in and be like, now there is going to be.
You know what that just... I just got an idea right now. Do you think that's connected to the major banks now issuing digital currency?
Well, they're doing a pilot program where they issue tokens. I mean, what's going to happen? You don't need me to tell you this, okay? Go and look at next year, and Jupiter goes into Taurus, hits the North Node, immediately scores Pluto. Oh, so I think a lot of people are going to realize, yeah, this is a thing. Like the banks are saying we're making this like conversion.
She just nailed it. That's it.
I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor.
No, she knows.
But I'm going to keep telling people, like, don't give up your fucking crypto. Because if they try to tell people that we're making this hard conversion to digital currencies, the people who own businesses, have cash, want to have freedom, they don't want oversight, they don't want to be connected, whatever, to centralized banking.
Control who can spend.
Those are the people that are going to go and create new coins, or those are the people who are going to buy into ETH and Bitcoin.
Okay, I want to speak on that real quick because Jupiter, North Node, Uranus, and Taurus is the creation of so much new coins. I really like that, and I like that you mentioned the square. Because I feel like the retrograde back into Capricorn is, okay, this is a thing now. We're getting rid of physical currency and it goes back into Aquarius and now we're digital. And that's kind of scary because it's going to happen.
Yeah, it'll happen by the end of 2024. It's inevitable. Jupiter and Uranus just in itself going into Taurus and conjuncting. But
actually, I hate to interrupt you. I don't want to keep a gloomy attitude to this. I think a positive is, because a lot of how these things work are, these advancements in technology, medicine, they're good for us. They're innovative. It's just the way that they're used, right? So I think we're going to see every social media platform we have is going to advance and upgrade in a way that benefits a lot of people. It's just in light with these advancements, be very mindful of what you're hearing from Candace, because it's a very important perspective in helping us read between the lines.
We're still in the Saturn-Uranus square. So you have to understand that if I remember correctly, the Bitcoin chart has a very similar Saturn-Uranus square.
Oh, shit.
From 2008. I have to go back and look at the chart, but it's like it was born to be revolutionary. So we're in the midst of Saturn, which is about oversight, restriction, limitation of the masses, and government, limiting Uranus running free in Taurus.
That
2
would
years'
mean
time,
Saturn
you
was
can't.
in Libra, and then Pluto just entered Cap, if that's what you mean. Oh, Uranus. You said Saturn.
I think that's when Uranus was in Aries. So there
Uranus was in Aries, And Pluto was in Cap. Yep. That's
so maybe it was the Pluto-Uranus, but for some reason I thought it was Saturn. Maybe it was Saturn in Libra, actually, 2008, 9, 10. I don't know. I'll have to look at the chart, but the positive also is like, look, over the next year, we have Saturn going into Pisces. It's going to start sextiling the North Node. It's going to start sextiling Uranus. when we get into 2024, when Jupiter and Uranus are conjunct, Saturn in Pisces is going to come closer to Neptune and it's going to sextile. I think it's going to take enough people who are going to basically be like, fuck this globally, that they don't want to do this, and they're going to start pushing to use this as a real form of currency and exchange, and there's going to be a push to start using that for international online platforms and pay options and things like that. Because the 12th house really is connected to your ability to do business with international people. So I think that if enough people push back, and if enough countries which have been totally ruined by what's been going on with like global inflation shift to being like, we're working only with crypto, or we're working only with like Bitcoin, if they exchange it enough and they have reason to kind of get it into circulation, it might prove to be even more valuable than it is now. And a lot of people are crying the blues about crypto right now, but it's like, dude, in 2 years' time, it's going to be so fucking valuable when Jupiter and Uranus are conjunct.
Super valuable.
Super valuable.
A lot of people are saying switch to XRP. Once again, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't think one coin is better than the other. Like, I feel like some investments will work for some people better than others, but trust your hunches, trust your instincts.
And get it off the exchanges, like I've been saying for months. Oh, yeah.
Put it in a private wallet, all that.
Yeah, put it on those like little drive thingies. Yeah. I don't even know what they're called, but...
The USB wallets.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, Jupiter's going to go into Aries again.
During Capricorn season.
And it's going to be right around the solstice, from what I remember. So it looks like right around December 20th. Yeah. We're going to have a 29 day. That's going to be intense.
That's crazy.
Jupiter at 0 degrees, December 20th, back in Aries. The sun's going to move into Capricorn, and it's going to be right on the heels of coming into a new moon. So once you get to December 21st, it leaves the Pisces Aries of your chart. It goes into Aries. And remember that 0 degrees of Aries is like shooting a gun.
It is. That sounds like a culturally impacting, shifting event that's going to impact everyone in the world, like a world war. But I think there's saying now that there might be war, and then there's how it actually plays off, which it's like if it's declared, it'll still take 3 months to build up. There's a chance that it can happen at once, and war could be an analogy for anything else, but it is an event. We are looking at the week of endness of transit as not only a significant event, but this is Jupiter ready to go through another 360 degrees. So
really big things happening with that December 21st. So that is going to be the winter solstice with Sun square Jupiter. We saw some similar things with, I think, the fall equinox as well, if I remember correctly.
We did.
So that'll be like a new moon that's going to square it. So that's pretty gnarly, right coming into Christmas and the holidays. And then we're going to see Jupiter continuing to move forward. I guess one other thing that I would say that's like food for thought is once Jupiter hits 3 degrees, it's going to be reactivating that Mars conjunction. So right around January 13th, 14th. If you think back to when Jupiter and Mars came into conjunction earlier this year, it was setting something up to like get moving with something. So you're going to see that totally pick up steam and momentum again around the 14th of January. And we're not really reaping the rewards of Jupiter in this sign until we start getting like Venus and the Sun and Mercury into the sign, which isn't going to happen for a while because Mercury is going to go retrograde in Capricorn. So we're going to start seeing big shift happening when like Venus and other planets come into conjunction. So that looks like it's not really going to be happening until closer to the end of February, beginning of March. First, we'll see Jupiter and Venus come into conjunction. So it's starting a new Jupiter-Venus aspect. Obviously, you know, Venus being in its fall, but still quite heated, action-oriented, stuff like that, beginning of March. And I'm, for one, and we'll do a whole thing on this, but I'm very excited to see this exalted sun come into conjunction with Jupiter, because that's when you're going to see things really start to pick up. And it looks like that's happening right around 21 degrees. That'll be around April 11th. You know, yeah, Mercury will hit it and stuff before that. But it's like, in from what I can see, that new Sun-Jupiter cycle is going to be kicking off some big things, and then we're going to have an eclipse that's going to be at 29 degrees of Aries in the mid-April period of time in 2023. Do you want to take it through the 12 signs really quick and talk a little bit about maybe what people should kind of be aware of, so we can talk about if it's in Pisces, what it's wrapping up for them, and then when it gets back into Aries, we can talk to you guys a little bit more about how that's affecting you.
Beautiful.
So let's start first with Aries and Aries rising. So Jupiter kind of getting ready to leave your 12th house, to me feels like you're preparing for like a grand reveal. And you're getting ready to take everything that you've been learning behind the scenes and believing and praying for and all of that stuff, and you're getting ready to kind of come out with it and make it very public. Pretty significant considering that it's going to be crossing an angle too. So when I think of like Jupiter, I think of where you've been traveling, what you've been learning, what you believe in, what you've been studying behind the scenes, and dreams, intuition, you know, exploring and learning more about different cultures or different places or different religion. And, you know, Jupiter in the 12th house is kind of like a guardian angel energy.
It is. Like you get in a car accident. Because some of you are going to fully step into your villain era. And you're just not going to hold back anymore. And you're fulfilling this ultimate legend with Neptune in your 12th house that's been evolved, that's going to have you believe in elements of yourself that have been misunderstood, especially since 2012, and you're just no longer going to hold back.
Yeah.
You're coming out the spiritual closet since 2010, 12 years of evolution, which is just super amazing, because I think a lot of this is geared towards the Jupiter in Taurus manifestation of new wealth for you. Like you're upgrading your tax bracket, and this first chapter here is just blazing through this new self-definition and awakening the Pluto and the 11th friends that align with that, now that Saturn has weeded the time wasters out of your life. So yeah.
Getting ready for those new fresh starts also, because it's coming into your sign in the new year. For Taurus and Taurus rising, you have got Jupiter that's getting ready to leave Pisces in your 11th house of friends and goals and associations. So sounds like you've been partying, having a good time, getting all your wishes in, meeting lots of people, socializing, connecting with like artists and spiritual people, and kind of like really realizing what your goals are and where you're learning how to change and transform your values and like what other people bring you or have to offer.
For many of you, it's fame, to be honest, because Saturn has completed the construction in your career. So with Saturn there, it's like an anchor and a weight. So it's like having you cultivate all of the right belonging. Your wishes are coming true, dreams are coming true. And then once Saturn goes into Pisces, boom. It's like the weight on your career isn't there. And that 12th house chapter is transcending your hidden self, your secret identity. And it's going to prepare for you to start your new chapter. So I know for me, when Jupiter was here, I didn't know I was going to become an astrologer. I was trying to become a preacher and a pastor.
Same thing.
And
Same.
And the 12th house is your spiritual beliefs.
Yeah.
So I had to release my old spiritual beliefs around Christianity so that I can become the peace dealer. And it is going to happen again. I know as a Taurus rising, I've come into all this success, you know what I'm saying, being who I am and meeting all these amazing people. And now it's like I have to surrender to the next level. So I think it's amazing. Taurus suns, Taurus risings, congratulations. I hate to say this, but certain people are asking about where Christopher Witecki is. Actually, yeah,
I've been asking.
Yeah, so
do you know?
Much love to you, but we hope you're doing well.
Yeah, nobody quite knows where he is. I mean, I know he's got a Leo rising, so he's had Uranus on his sun and the Saturn opposition to his ascendant and the squares. Yeah, I mean,
we hope you well.
It's fucking brutal out there for fixed placements, man. I'm like really surprised that I mean, knock on wood, that I made it this far unscathed. I'm careful even saying that, but I think Jupiter going in the 12th house, I've seen a lot of like Taurus risings also that have said like, oh, my faith is changing or my religion is changing or, you know, like I'm.
Oh, with Pluto in the 9th too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's also a big thing. And you might find yourself just wanting to travel by yourself more or spending more time alone or, you know, working out by yourself and, you know, dealing with the moods that are going to be happening as you have Jupiter go into your 12th house. There can definitely be some moods there.
Oh, yeah.
For Gemini and Gemini rising, well, I mean, but Jupiter is still wrapping up in your 10th house. So this is a nice, good final kind of finale for Gemini risings because it might be your one last shot at like really having fame or exposure or, you know, getting a little bit more public recognition or teaming up with somebody who's got that because Jupiter rules their seventh
house. You're right.
Yeah.
That happened
Prominent
to me
partners.
The last time. I mean, once again, as a Gemini, the Aries fashion is going to very quickly push you forward with the right people. This was 10 years ago for me. Around the time, or 11 years ago, I met my social circle of friends through a Pisces, after Jupiter's in Pisces. And these are the there was an Aries friend, I was a part of it, I was hanging out with, and he is the one who introduced me to the Babalao who does Santeria and all that stuff. So he kind of helped with that, but as a Gemini sign, he was a really good friend. But like, the thing that 11th house Gemini taught me because Uranus was there. So it's like, oh wow, my friends are like the gangsters and the drug dealers and the outcasts of society, but they're so raw and like original, you know? So this is you redefining your self-concept with friends, original individuals who align with you, and you're gonna know more where you belong with this career success. So congratulations, Geminis. This is definitely, I mean, in light of the controversies that almost every Gemini is coming into, I think it's gonna be super positive for y'all, because it's like you're breaking through the darkness and you're aligning with people. Let's take Kanye for example. You know, like all the people who still support him, we're gonna see during Jupiter.
So I guess my real question is Trump gonna pick Kanye for VP?
I wish, please.
Can you imagine?
He's clearly not, but I wish.
That'd be a sure shoe-in, eh?
That would be the best. I mean, the dragon energy on that, but unfortunately, A is radioactive to many people right now. So no one wants to touch him, but I'm very interested in who Trump's, because his last VP betrayed him. So, like, I wonder
surprised by that?
Double Gemini, Two-Face. He was the most Two-Face shit. Oh, my God. The last double Gemini to do that, Sun and Moon, was Jussie Smollett. So, Cancer don't claim, I know. Cancer don't claim him. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be awesome because Pluto going in your 9th is going to awaken more evidence and knowledge of your angelic nature and higher scientific knowledge that aligns with your information and truth than ever. So congratulations, Gemini. I think you're going to enjoy this. I think it's in a sense that everyone else is going to be miserable, save like Scorpio and Leo and Aquarius, and then you guys are just going to be amazing. Like, yay! We'll see.
So for Cancer and Cancer rising, you have got Jupiter that's leaving Pisces in your 9th house, where it's been expanding your philosophy, your belief system, maybe traveling more, completing higher levels of education. Maybe you've been publishing, maybe you've been teaching. You know, Jupiter rules your 6th house. So a lot of you guys have been learning more about like health and wellness.
Yeah.
How to better kind of organize business, hire people, working with people in other places. And it's going to wrap up the 9th house where it's positive because it's been making positive aspects. So if you're a sun, moon, or rising in Cancer, there's been a lot of emotions about what you believe in and who has been guiding you and assisting you and like what the bigger purpose of life is. Jupiter loves the 9th house. That's the other thing. So like have Jupiter go through your 9th house, even though it's in a water sign, has you getting to a point where with things emotionally where it builds up so much where you're like, okay, what have I learned from this? Now I'm going to take action. Such good timing because in about a month's time, Jupiter is going to go back into your 10th house. It's going to be really expanding your career. You've got the North Node going there next year. You've got eclipses going there next year. You're ready to just like become locked and loaded when it comes to really showing up in your career. For many of you guys, you've been navigating and learning the skills and the techniques, and you've been getting the training or the certification or the guidance to learn more about advertising and sales and all that stuff. So that way you can run your own businesses or you can be more independent out.
I'm mind blown, by the way. My Cancer sister, she just passed her step 2 test for medicine and neurosurgery or whatever. So like that, I can see her advancing in that sense. But oh my gosh, with Chiron there too, it's like a lot of people are healing how assertive they are to break through glass ceilings. Just a lot of career success. And I really like the Aries MC because it's individually defined as success. It's like no one else did it but you. Cancer gets that moody like stereotype, but like their persona is very masculine. It's weird. It's very gangster, like 50 Cent or like although he has Saturn on his sun, but yeah, I mean,
I think also just like the fact that Mars is retrograde in the 12th right now, like a lot of you guys are working hard behind the scenes and trying to get stuff done. So come the spring of 23, you're like ready to kind of hit the ground running.
I'm 0 degrees progressed Cancer, rising and sun. So actually I'm coming to really accept the progressed transits are more accurate for me.
Man, the more that I look at the progressed chart, I'm like, there's definitely something to it. Like not just looking at like the progressed moon, but when progressed planets have conjunctions from outer planets, like transits or like eclipses. Like the eclipses the last year, you would never know affected my natal chart, but they're rocking my progress chart. That's because deep. They're all happening on my ascendant and my descendant.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, I'm a progressed Sag sun, so I could see that. Yeah. The Mars retrograde is going to be the death of me.
Oh no.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's fine. I'm just going to, just try not to freak out on somebody.
Right.
But yeah, for the most part, wrapping up your beliefs and what you've been learning. So finally publishing a book, graduating, getting a certification. These are things that you can see as a Cancer rising.
Beautiful.
For Leo and Leo rising, you have got Jupiter that is getting ready to wrap up its trek in Pisces. So this has been hanging out in your 8th house if you are a Leo rising. What does this mean?
You're getting ready to evolve how you see yourself and your self-concept, which as a narcissist is so amazing because you're about to love yourself even so much more.
It means you're going to get a sugar daddy and he's going to marry you and you're not going to sign a prenup and he's going to die and you're going to take all his money. That's how I see it.
No, it's amazing because my Leo friend today was having dreams of Kanye West buying her a house and basically being her sugar daddy, and she has Saturn or something, so like that's that MC Taurus. Like,
every time he coughs, you're like,
Daddy's gonna take care of you. Yep. Now for you Leo men who aren't gay, okay, this is talking about, because for you Leo men who are gay, Daddy's gonna take care of you. But for you Leo men who are not gay, this is definitely also talking about maybe a sugar mama.
Or maybe somebody that pays for vacations and stuff, because Jupiter rules your 5th house. So I could see that there's just like spending a little bit more money, indulging, having fun. But it's also like super sexy.
Yeah.
It's very pregnancy energy too, because it's the ruler of the 5th house.
Don't say that. I got a Leo crush.
It's true. It's true. It is. I think it's also just bonuses, inheritances, things that are owed to you.
Lots of career success.
Yeah.
Because when Jupiter, I'm looking for Jupiter going to Taurus and seeing how successful Leos become, because that's just going to like...
I think you guys are going to get some really great end of the year reviews. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. You guys might get some nice bonuses and gifts and Christmas presents, and it's a sexier time. But I mean, Jupiter.
It's also your rising star year. So like when it's 9th house to your sun, it's like you start to come into greater prominence. For me, when Jupiter went through Aquarius and I was posting all those memes and talking about Trump, I got so much more followers. I lost like 30, but I gained like 300. So like it's a rising star year, but as the main character, Leo, it can be a villain era, an arc for some of you. I'm looking at the Leo King, to be honest, because it'd be very interesting. Someone had mentioned that before he was very controversial, but now that he has his girlfriend, he's more fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? Like he's
less aggro.
He's less aggro, but this is still the Leo King. I want to see
you guys
how
are
he's
both Taurus. Wait, no,
he's Taurus moon, I'm Taurus rising.
Oh, you're Taurus rising. Yeah. So he's got all the stuff that's going on.
I think we're going to see his greatest breakthrough, and I think he's going to finally be in the mainstream. personally. Like we're
he
gonna
would
see
argue
him.
he's already been in the mainstream because he's a DJ
is.
and he's
No,
a
he has
what else
already
is on his rap sheet.
He has a good rap. I mean,
Yeah.
Hey, I think his rap sheet is impressive, but I think he's gonna be in the mainstream. And I'm saying him as an archetype of other Leos, like Tory Lanez and everyone. We're gonna see him on these major platforms more consistently. And congratulations, bro. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Leo risings for sure. Between the eclipses and also you will eventually see Jupiter go into your 10th house at some point next year. It's going to just trek through Aries very quickly.
Yeah. From January to May.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a thing. I'm excited to see also just because Jupiter and Neptune in the 8th house can also be finally shining a light on like some of your shadow issues and like healing issues that you might have had with like sexual trauma, drugs, alcohol, stuff like that. Finding higher octaves of connecting intimately and not just making it be about sex is what you're learning from that exchange. For Virgo and Virgo rising, you have got Jupiter that is in Pisces. It's in your 7th household sign. It is getting ready to leave your 7th household sign before it goes into your 8th house. So for those of you guys who are single, it's like the last little slice of more so positivity and likelihood that it can expand your relationship. So if you're hoping to meet somebody, it can help you do that.
For Virgo? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Although it's a bit of like a shit show right now because you got Mars retrograde in your 10th and you got a bunch of planets in your 4th. So it's like you could meet somebody, but you might have to move or change jobs or make shifts in terms of your lifestyle so that person can come in.
That's what I like how organized Virgo's transits are because Virgo had the North Node going through their 10th. Destiny changed the approach of their career. Saturn built the work environment. They can work their career. Yeah. And now Mars is having them move forward on it, reevaluate. So where do you feel the 7th house comes in the 8th house?
I feel like the 7th house is opportunity to either A, reconnect with people from the past because Jupiter is definitely people from the past, or getting support from family members and like maybe family members setting you up, or maybe you move back home and then you meet someone. I think Jupiter going into your 8th house is more touching on the fact that you're learning a lot about regeneration and the fact that like 2 is better than 1, and like maybe being more open to relationships and living with somebody can actually benefit you financially, that there's a lot to learn about healing, sexual healing, and also just regeneration. I mean, when you got your 7th house, when you have your 4th house lord in the 8th house, like you're going to have a change of your home, your family, or perhaps be dealing with like death or inheritance. So, you know, Jupiter in the 7th right now is like saying like, hey, as you are embarking and getting ready to have some of these major life changes, wouldn't it be great to have somebody by your side to help you deal with that? Especially if you're frustrated at work right now, or if you're really frustrated with home stuff, like having somebody else who can kind of help balance that out can be really wonderful.
And then, you know, with Libra, we have the same emphasis on partnerships out of making your dream life real, you know, which I think is the coolest thing of Jupiter in Pisces for Libra. It's a very supernatural integration of metaphysical principles of how your imagination creates your reality, which I mean,
Pisces in the 6th. Yeah, that's a good interpretation.
It's super magical.
I mean, I don't know.
It's like you're living the life of your dreams.
I'm a Libra rising, and I'll tell you that having Jupiter and Neptune in the 6th house has been a blessing and a curse, because you can just totally slack off and not do anything, or there is a sense of working so much and sacrificing so much that it's like you're just spent. So there's not really a lot of balance or equilibrium, especially with the squares that we've been seeing to Mars. But it's going to bring Libras an opportunity to shine a light on healthier routines, finding more life balance. If you need to remedy a health problem, get back to the gym, make a change in your diet, finally give up a bad habit, and integrate, I think, more time in your daily routine for rest, recuperation, art, you know, anything that's going to be giving you more kind of creative or like spiritual energies before Jupiter goes into your 7th house again, which is basically starting what's going to be a several month period of really opening and giving you more opportunities when it comes to your relationship. So those of you guys who are single, especially Libra risings over the next year and a half between Jupiter in your 7th and eclipses in your 7th, meeting very significant people who you might work with, marry, you know, whatever.
Every partnership in your life is upgrading. I like it because Aries 7th house is the raw, original activities you do with people. So Aries going through the 7th means that what you do with every relationship is farther. You're doing a lot more things because you're so much more powerful. And it's amazing with Chiron because it's healing your partnerships. And I feel like with Saturn coming out your 5th, everything you expanded about what you dreamed your lifestyle to be will be real now. It'll be more, instead of fluctuating, constructed, and it's going to release the limitations that you had dating because you were so serious about what you love.
Yeah.
And it's going to really be like your weight jacket is off and you're freer. So I think y'all, like Gemini, are going to be very positive.
Opening communication, too.
What if we saw Kim and Kanye get back together?
I don't think Kim would do that. I think Kim knows it would ruin her brand.
Kim. Oh, I feel you. Well, hopefully people forgive Kanye again.
She's selfish. I don't think she's going to do that. She's got Pluto square her 11th house sign. She's not going back.
Think about the kids. I was just joking. I'm going to be Kim Kardashian's personal astrologer. So,
she fucking needs it, so please do.
What's up? I slid in her DMs. I was like, do you want an astrology? I don't know if she'll read it. I don't know if she'll see it. But hey, I'm going to put that out there. Kylie, I slid in your DMs too. Hopefully you see it and I could be your personal astrologer. I'm only one of the best, so it is what it is.
For Scorpio and Scorpio rising, you have got Jupiter that's wrapping up its trek in your whole sign 5th house of dating and creativity, romance, self-employment, children.
I want to highlight Drake has this. He's broken through a new accolade, which he does when he drops whatever. But I think that's cool with his project that he's dropped. And it's based on the last 3 projects he's dropped. His most favorable project he's dropped was when Jupiter was trying his sun. I think that's awesome.
Well, and he's also got the Pluto square setting up, so he's really got to get serious about what he's like creating.
I think someone's gonna try and assassinate him. Cause
the Uranus opposition too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be random. Like I'm praying for you, bro. I hope we don't find out about it. Either like jealousy or maybe a label thing. Cause like if a label put posthumous releases from him, they gonna get that money, but that's more speculation. That's conspiracy theory.
We'd have to look at his chart. I mean, I think just for Scorpio rising, I mean, having Jupiter in a fellow water sign is super helpful for like inspiration, creativity, emotions and stuff. But Scorpio risings who are like looking for love, this is your chance. Oh yeah. Especially because of the sextiles that are happening to Pluto in the 3rd, communicating what's on your mind, what's in your heart, and in this next year, you're going to see Saturn go into your 5th house where you get serious about romance.
I know Scorpio rising who just got married.
A lot of them, yeah. A lot of them are falling in love, quickly getting married, getting pregnant, then getting married. Yeah. Obviously, I've had like 5 or 6 Scorpio risings that have reached out to me in this last like week or 2, and they're like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, of course, Jupiter's stationing.
I'm trying to get a girl pregnant and then marry her. We could be rebels. Instead of marrying first. I'm sorry. I'm blaming on the liquor right now.
Careful what you ask for.
No, for real. I'm going to be careful. I'm kind of interested with Scorpio once again because the 6th house is upgrading your lifestyle. So like you're taking legitimate actions from January to May that elevate your lifestyle to the next level and give you more autonomy with what you do. Mm-hmm. But Pluto squaring you, yo. That I feel like Pluto and Libra was carrying the world right now because Pluto's in Cap. And now that Pluto's going in Aquarius, Pluto Scorpio, we're about to carry everybody. And everyone calls us weird, dumb millennials. And we're about to show you we really run shit.
Well, with the Jupiter oppositions, it's going to be a nice little boost here in the next year or 2. That'll help.
It'll start as a shit show, but it'll end very amazing.
Good luck, Scorpio. For Sag and Sag rising, you've got Jupiter that's going direct in Pisces in your 4th house. Jupiter's your chart ruler, so you got to know what's going on here. Really, it's great because any which way you slice it, Jupiter in the 4th house. Yes, Neptune is there. You can be feeling emotional and sensitive. But you can move to a bigger place or another country.
I like that you said it's great because that was the first. The first thing I want to say is I think you're gonna have the most fun with this Sag. Because it's gonna Styles P is a Sagittarius and he made a song where he said that when he goes to sleep he goes home. And I was like, oh, that's 4th house Sag. Like,
Yeah.
the dream realm is Sagittarius' home. But then you're going to come into this 5th house. I feel like projects and musical releases and art from Sagittarians are going to be the best. Like, it's Nicki Minaj. If she drops, she's probably going to go #1. Like, it's going to take your creativity and your talents to the next level. It's going to open up opportunities for new love and romance, making friends of the heart that love what you love. But revisiting your inner child and giving
that's huge.
Giving it everything it never got before. You know?
Well, making a home within yourself
That
and like
too.
kind of mending all of those pieces before you potentially live with another person
That
or
too.
have your own kids
Yeah.
or expanding your home, whatever. Really great for self-expression. Like, I like it in the 4th house because it's more emotional and emotional changes, which can also represent endings right before you go into this next new phase during Sag season. So that's going to be cool to see, like, Sag season, Jupiter going into your
You can have a
5th
kid
house.
or another kid too.
Yeah, that's a big theme.
Janet. To a certain Sagittarius named Janet, if you're trying to have a baby with your boy, what's up? I know this is weird as hell to say it on YouTube. You're not going to see this episode, but hey, it is what it is. Let me know. She got a Sag rising, so my Mars is in her 5th house.
Okay.
I'm going to pretend that means that it's possible. Okay. All right.
For Capricorn and Cap rising, you have got Jupiter in Pisces hanging out in your 3rd house, wrapping up a transit that's been there for a hot minute. It's been expanding your mind, communication. Maybe you got a new car. Maybe you learned a new language.
Yeah. You learned tarot, a new skill. Which, wait, yeah.
Yeah, psychic development, intuitive development, because Jupiter rules their 12.
And Neptune there, it's just
I think it's also a lot of you guys have been learning about language or how to communicate with people in other places because you might be visiting there.
Pisces 3rd house to me is like sign language. It's like not a vocal language. It's like...
Yeah.
Or telepathy.
You're learning more about meditation or manifestation.
Lucid dreaming. All that weird shit.
You had Jupiter in your 4th house briefly, so it gave you a little bit of like a preview of like what's coming, whether it's expanding your home, renovating, moving back home. Some of you guys have had like a lot of stuff going on with your mothers, where moms have been sick. That's because Jupiter rules the 12th house, so maybe they've needed some kind of treatment. You've gone home, whatever. Jupiter in the 3rd can promote moving. It can like suddenly prompt moving and like having conversations and looking in new neighborhoods as well.
Before it goes in your 4th.
Yeah.
And then you actually move with Aries and take the action. So I think that's awesome. I feel like people aren't aware of how much money Capricorn is making through their network.
Yeah.
And meeting the right people and being that collective. Because once Saturn leaves there, you've finished the construction on your 2nd house, and it's cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. So much money. And yeah. So congratulations. I think you're going to be more at home with who you are as a person.
I also feel like you're going to learn how to
yourself more.
communicate more emotionally because of
Yeah.
all the sextiles between your 3rd house and Pluto in your sign. You're really opening up and learning to kind of like let your guard down and communicate in a way that's like less defensive, but still powerful, still very powerful. And I know that Saturn hanging out in your 2nd house, there's been a lot of kind of challenges revolving around money and resources, but
And
you're
your
learning how to
self-esteem.
communicate and talk about that.
You're learning more about the knowledge of what you're worth so that you're more confident breaking through into more wealthy circles. You devil, you. I'm just joking.
Capricorn deserves it. They've been through hell and back the last few years.
Free R. Kelly on the show. I don't want to get canceled.
No.
I'm just joking.
No.
I'm just joking. I just wanted to say that because he's a Capricorn. So. But free Ghislaine Maxwell. No, I'm just joking. But yeah.
On that note, Aquarius rising.
Free Jeffrey Epstein. Rest in
You'll
peace.
never find him.
Free.
He's still alive. He's out there somewhere.
Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. There you go.
So for Aquarius and Aquarius rising, you have got Jupiter wrapping up its transit in the sign of Pisces. So actually it's been really good for you. I mean, maybe you've made a little chunk of cash here recently since Jupiter's gone back into your whole sign's 2nd house.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you feel like with the strength of Aquarius's mind, like this 2nd house Pisces is like they can manifest anything they imagine? It's like the supernatural
Yes,
ability.
yes, but Mars is going retrograde in their 5th, so they're being more careful with taking chances and gambling and investments.
That's real. Because it happens really fast?
I feel like Jupiter and Neptune in your 2nd house can be like manifesting something that you've always wanted. But I also feel like it can be like this situation where you're like, oh my God, there's a hole in my wallet. Where did all the money go? And like you have all these subscriptions you didn't know about. And like you're always paying for things and covering expenses, going on trips and traveling with your friends.
Deep as hell. It could be the Uranus square. So it's like, I like that interpretation. That's really awesome. And really being sure you want what it is you manifest. That could be the 5th, 2nd house square.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. I think for you guys, though, it's like you're going to realize that money is an energy and it's an exchange, and you can't hold on to it too tightly. Otherwise, it can't come in, and you can't give it too freely. Otherwise, you lose it. So you're learning about the energy exchange that goes with money and resources. Super generous with friends because Jupiter rules your 11th. But I also feel like this is your vision and your goals in regards to how you want to feel about how you're making money shifting and evolving.
And I mean, you're getting ready to be, relative to the last 10 years, be more reckless and assertive with how freely you express your ideas when it goes to the 3rd. And what I love about Aquarius as an innovator, you guys are going to be creating new jobs, new skills, new abilities, new ideas of how people can see themselves that you'll be communicating. So
you might be making money also with friends and like working with friends. That's the other way that I could see
or
that.
Putting people on, right?
Yeah, definitely. And then finally we've got Pisces and Pisces rising. Obviously Jupiter is in your sign, so it's been a thing seeing it hang out in your sign and then go into your 2nd house. You had it briefly in your 2nd house where you made a little bit of change. But, you know, Jupiter and Neptune in your sign is your vision, your manifestations, your optimism, your ability to travel, expand, listen to your intuition, wander. I feel like it's really good for visibility because Jupiter rules your 10th house as well. So it's really great for being like, this is my vision for my career, and then putting it out there. So if you make art, if you make music, if you write poetry, if you're a filmmaker, whatever, like it's really, really good for creative type of jobs. Where it gets kind of dicey is that the money doesn't come until you get your vision in alignment. So as Jupiter's and the North Node's going into your 2nd house in the spring, that money shows up, but you have to work hard for it. Like super hard for it. And it can't just be like, oh, wouldn't this be great? This is a dream. Like you're going to realize that you can dream it. You can come up with like the glory plan. But if you're not actually taking the actions to make that happen, it's all a dream.
And of course, Pisces, you are the dream. So like, I like to highlight Rihanna and Floyd Mayweather. You know, the past 12 years of their evolution cycle, Rihanna is a billionaire, Floyd Mayweather's 50-0, you know? So like, you've evolved your concept of yourself, and now you're evolving yesterday's prices and today's price.
I feel like Pisces can do it though, because they have Jupiter going into their 2nd and Saturn on their ascendant.
It's pushing you forward.
They're getting more grounded and more kind of like concrete.
With the eclipse in their 3rd too.
Yeah.
It's like making more real their philosophy. Like elements of your beliefs that were delusional are now real.
Well, there's more structure. So now you're like, okay, contracts, timelines, pay me. Like you're not just all over the place. Yeah.
And then the most important part I feel with this is Chiron is I feel like Pisces with Neptune, you have such a divine sense of yourself. You know you're divine, but you take actions that doubt your worth. And so you're healing how much value you know you have so that you can increase. Like, for example, you know you're a divine being, but you charge like pennies on the dollars for your services because you're afraid of other people think. Now you're charging what you're worth.
Yeah, especially when Jupiter goes back into Aries, you know your worth, and it's like, fuck you, pay me.
Right, you're healing this value, for real. And you are one of the 4 anti-zodiac signs. So this is really shifting the focus around this time. Before we had more energy in the socials. Now you have more leverage it was the other way around.
You can charge more for your services too, because
Exactly.
Jupiter rules your 10th. So now that you're getting more recognition and visibility and people see you and they want to work with you, you're going to be able to bring more money in.
A lot of what you've done before was frowned upon. Now everyone's doing it, so you're more in demand.
Yeah.
So there's two. And congratulations, Pisces.
Yeah, it's going to be 2023 is going to be a year. It's going to be a year for you. You'll see. Pluto going into your 12th house, and you're gonna have to figure out how to be a boss. Yeah, you're gonna do it.
Oh God.
Hopefully that's helpful for you guys. Let us know, what are you anticipating? How have you felt with Jupiter in Pisces? Are you excited about going back in Aries? Where is it transiting in your chart? Is it hitting anything between 28 degrees of Pisces and 3 degrees of Aries? Very personal for you, so make sure you check that out.
And make sure Jupiter talks about evolution, so you can evolve and level up your life by joining level 3 or 2 or 1.
If you guys do, you're supporting the channel. You make it possible for us to keep making content for you.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
a 3-man team. We're self-funded. So your donations go towards production, booze, snacks, and the time that it takes to be able to put this together. We're coming up on 100 episodes. It's really crazy. I was thinking about it, like, we started this podcast when Saturn first entered into Aquarius, and it was all named after Aquarius. Well, more so the midheaven, but whatever, ruled by Saturn. And like, we've done it. So this entire last going on 2.5 years has been literally building this podcast and putting it together. So it wouldn't be possible without people like you. Likes, comments, shares, subscription. Follow our Instagram online if you want to support us, and consider joining our memberships. We'll see you on one of our live readings on Wednesdays. And yeah, hopefully the Jupiter transits are as good to you as they have been to us. We'll see you all very soon.
And prepare for war.
Take care, guys.